Every legendary song needs a voice out front, but some of the most talented musicians in history never got their name on the marquee. They stood in the shadows, played the sessions, sang the harmonies, and outperformed the stars they supported. Here are 12 backup artists who were better than the frontman. Number 12. Nicky Hopkins. Approximately a dozen Rolling Stones albums featured his piano, yet most fans have never heard his name. Hopkins played on She's a Rainbow, No Expectations, and Angie, adding melodic sophistication that elevated the band beyond blues rock swagger. John Lennon wanted him. Jeff Beck needed him. The Who booked him constantly. Yet Hopkins was never made an official Stone. He drifted between bands as a hired hand, contributing brilliance without receiving co-billing. His touch defined some of the greatest recordings of the late 1960s and 1970s. When he passed away in 1994, the tributes were quiet. The music spoke louder than the credits ever did. Number 11. John Paul Jones. In the late 1960s, nobody in rock had a resume like his. Before Led Zeppelin existed, he had already arranged Donovan's Mellow Yellow and played sessions for Herman's Hermits. Jimmy Page knew he was the most musically trained player available. That's why he called him. Jones wrote the entire main riff of Black Dog and arranged the orchestral sweep of Kashmir. Yet the media treated Zeppelin as the Plant and Page show. When those two reunited for the 1994 project No Quarter Unleaded, they left Jones out entirely. He learned about it from the media. At the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction the following year, Jones quipped to the audience, "Thank you, my friends, for finally remembering my phone number." The omission proved what many had always suspected. Number 10. Glen Campbell.
Rhinestone Cowboy.
Before Rhinestone Cowboy made him a household name, he was an anonymous guitar player in Los Angeles studios. Campbell was a core member of the Wrecking Crew, the session collective that played on hundreds of hits throughout the 1960s. His guitar work was technically superior to most artists he backed.
That makes me turn to leave my sleeping bag, roll up and stash behind the couch.
In late 1964, Brian Wilson stopped touring with the Beach Boys, and Campbell stepped in as his live replacement. He played on early Beach Boys sessions alongside musicians whose names never appeared on the cover. Campbell later proved his star power with Wichita Lineman in 1968 and Galveston in 1969, selling millions under his own name.
And I need you more than want you.
Number 9. Bobby Keys. The night he first jammed with Keith Richards, a lifelong musical partnership was born. Keys and Richards shared a birthday, December 18, 1943. They also shared something deeper, a raw instinct for rock and roll. Keys played saxophone on nearly every Stones album from Sticky Fingers in 1971 through A Bigger Bang in 2005. His solo on Brown Sugar became one of the most recognizable sax moments in rock history. Yet he remained a salaried sideman. Keys departed the 1973 European tour amid personal struggles. He came back eventually. When Keys died in December 2014, Richards called him his soul brother. The credits always said otherwise. Which backup musician blew your mind the most so far? Have you ever seen any of these artists perform live? Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Number 8. Clarence Clemons. Bruce Springsteen once said that the night Clarence Clemons walked into a bar on the Jersey Shore, everything changed forever. That saxophone became the emotional anchor of the E Street Band for nearly 4 decades. Without it, songs like Born to Run and Jungle Land would have been great. With it, they became immortal. Clemons appeared on every major E Street Band album from Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey, in 1973 through Working on a Dream in 2009. He even scored a top 20 duet with Jackson Browne called You're a Friend of Mine in 1985, peaking at number 18. When Clemons passed away in June 2011, Springsteen called him irreplaceable. Some instruments don't just play music, they carry it. Number 7. Mick Ronson. A string arrangement on Life on Mars that still gives listeners chills. His first ever orchestral arrangement, completed minutes before the session musicians arrived. A guitar tone on Moonage Daydream that defined glam rock. Mick Ronson built the sonic architecture behind David Bowie's most celebrated albums, including Hunky Dory, Ziggy Stardust, and Aladdin Sane. Ronson's talent extended beyond the spiders from Mars. He co-produced alongside Bowie Lou Reed's Transformer in 1972, shaping Walk on the Wild Side into something timeless. He later worked with Ian Hunter and produced Morrissey's Your Arsenal. When Ronson died of liver cancer in April 1993 at just 46, Bowie lost the collaborator who made his vision real. Number 6. Bootsy Collins. At just 18 years old, he got the phone call that would change funk music permanently. James Brown recruited Bootsy Collins and his brother Phelps, known as Catfish, in March 1970. Their heavier, nastier bass and guitar attack fueled Get Up I Feel Like Being a Sex Machine and Superbad. Collins only lasted with Brown until 1971, but those recordings remain among Brown's most celebrated. Collins then joined George Clinton's Parliament Funkadelic Empire in 1972 and launched Bootsy's Rubber Band. Flea, Les Claypool, and Victor Wooten have all cited him as a foundational influence. The teenager who backed Brown became the man who shaped modern bass.
To be a friend, not but a Sylvie.
Number 5. Billy Preston.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something.
Apple Records released Get Back in 1969 with a credit no outside musician had ever received on a Beatles single. The label read, The Beatles with Billy Preston. John Lennon wanted to make him a full member. The rest of the band said no, but that credit told the truth. Preston belonged on that stage. His Fender Rhodes electric piano on Get Back and Hammond organ on Let It Be gave the Beatles a soulful energy they couldn't generate alone. Preston later proved his solo talent with 2 #1 hits, Will It, Go Round in Circles in 1973 and Nothing from Nothing in 1974. He was more dynamic on stage than any individual Beatle, and Lennon knew it. If you could pick one backup musician from this list to front their own supergroup, who would you choose? Tell us in the comments. Number 4. The Funk Brothers.
We don't need to escalate.
By some estimates, more #1 hits than the Beatles, the Beach Boys, the Rolling Stones, and Elvis Presley combined. That staggering statistic belongs to Motown's uncredited house band, James Jamerson on bass, Benny Benjamin on drums, Robert White, Eddie Willis, and Joe Messina on guitars. They played behind Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, The Supremes, and Stevie Wonder. Jamerson's bass line on What's Going On is considered one of the greatest ever recorded. Yet for years, they received no credits and earned modest session rates. The 2002 documentary Standing in the Shadows of Motown finally told their story. By then, several members had passed away in obscurity.
I guess you say what can make me feel.
Number 3. Darlene Love.
He's a rebel and he'll never ever be any good. He's a rebel 'cause he never ever does.
The voice behind He's a Rebel reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1962. But the credit went to the Crystals. Phil Spector recorded Love singing lead, then slapped another group's name on the single without her consent. He contractually blocked her from recording independently. By the 1980s, she was cleaning houses in Los Angeles to survive. Rolling Stone has ranked her among the greatest vocalists in rock history, yet she was scrubbing floors because a producer stole her identity. Love staged a remarkable comeback and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2011 by Bette Midler. The voice was always undeniable.
He walks down the street. That's the way he shuffles his feet.
Number 2, Lisa Fischer. How Can I Ease the Pain won the Grammy for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance in 1992. Most artists would have leveraged that into solo stardom. Instead, its singer joined the Rolling Stones touring band and spent more than 2 decades standing just a few feet behind Mick Jagger. Keith Richards once said she was one of the finest vocalists he had ever heard. Every night on tour, she delivered the soaring lines from Gimme Shelter that Jagger's voice could never touch. The 2013 documentary 20 Feet from Stardom, which won the Academy Award for Best Documentary, made her story its emotional centerpiece. The most gifted voice on that stage was never at center. Number 1, Mary Clayton.
I'm gonna fade away. Oh,
Late one night in 1969, a phone call pulled her out of bed. She was pregnant, still in curlers, and had no idea what song she was about to sing. Arranger Jack Nitzsche selected her for a Rolling Stones track called Gimme Shelter, after producer Jimmy Miller decided the song needed a female vocalist. She arrived at the studio and delivered takes so ferocious that Mick Jagger's voice audibly shrank beside hers. Her voice cracks on the word murder, and that moment became one of the most visceral seconds in recorded music. Clayton suffered a miscarriage shortly after the session. Keith Richards discussed the recording in his 2010 autobiography, Life. She sang backup for Ray Charles as one of the Raylettes and appeared on Neil Young's debut album across a career that never matched the magnitude of her talent. That one night captured something rare, a backup singer who completely owned the song.
Started to sing, "Oh children, let's shout away, let's shout away," with Mick.
She sings the lyrics right along me and with a lot of personality, which is what was needed.
yeah.